Hello, this is Amber Seay, and you are here with us today with a very anticipated interview. I would call this a very dapper man, but a man that really knows how to make country music, Mr. Josh Morningstar. How are you today, Josh?
I'm okay. I'm just waking up and getting around, which is horrible for 3:30 in the afternoon, but I had a very early flight this morning, so that's how I'm justifying it.
Well, that's always a good excuse because, honestly, jet lag is a true thing, and you said you'd been up since like 1:30, so you deserve a nap.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, I want to know what all's going on with you these days and get the listeners to really know you, because I tell you, it's really hard to keep up with everybody's music. And when I really started listening to yours, I am such a fan. And I never again want to hear anybody say that there's not country music these days. After listening to you, it really gave me that thought.
Well,
I was like,
you.
This guy's got it. So just tell me a little bit about your newest album and what you're doing.
Well, I write songs. That's what I consider myself to be first and foremost, as a songwriter.
Okay.
And here these past couple of years, more and more people have started recording my songs, especially in the underground country, I guess you call it, realm. I've had a number one with Cody Jenks, and Cody recorded 6 of my songs for his newest records that he put out. And then Sonny Sweeney's recorded one, and there's some more coming down the pike. Other than that, I'm on the road 300 days a year, all over the country. You can see me. Chances are I'm coming to your area at some point, and that's what I've done for the last 15 years or so, and that's all I know to do, and all I'll do until the day I'm called home, as long as I'm lucky. So.
Yeah, I heard you racked up a lot of Greyhound miles in your in your days.
Greyhound, frequent flyers, rental car, I got them all.
Man, Greyhound's the worst. That's the worst one. That's the one I can't handle.
It sure is. I have so many Greyhound horror stories. I could probably fill up an hour just with Greyhounds.
Oh, that's a good idea, because I could too. Oh, some good ones. And some funny ones, some good ones.
Yeah,
but
probably not the promotional time for Greyhound. But
oh, yeah.
it'd be a lot of fun.
Totally call it. I know, it would be. I don't know if you've ever been in the San Antonio station, but oh, whoa.
Not San Antonio Greyhound station. No, I've been to San Antonio quite a few times, but luckily I've never had to take a Greyhound.
You're lucky there. But if you ever come down to South Padre Island, which is at the very tip of Texas, we're down in like Mexico at the very southeast tip.
Yes,
you let me know, because I will bring a bunch of friends and we will come and rock the whole joint.
I'm sure we'll be there sometime next year. We were just down Galveston and Corpus, that area, San Antonio, down that way, the beginning of the summer. We normally hit there once a year, so I'm sure we'll be back in sometime next year, at least once.
Yeah, well, that'll be good. That'll be wonderful. So, but I, listening to your songs, and I was going to ask you how, which ones you wrote, because I looked under, I listen to my music on YouTube sometimes, and you look under there, and it says the title of the song in Josh Morningstar, but I was like, well, does that mean you wrote it, or he is just a singer, because they do that too, And because the lyrics to your songs are really, they're just so good. They're I couldn't come up with it.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Chances are, if my name's on it, I probably wrote it. I've had quite a few songwriters that I really look up to and respect tell me that I don't have to do covers, you know what I mean? And coming from people, you know, that I look up to and think the world of, you hear that enough times from those kind of people, it kind of, you know, drills into your head. So I stopped doing covers a few years ago, and chances are if my name's on it, I probably wrote it. Yeah. I don't consider myself to be a singer or a guitar player, really. I write my songs, and the joke I used to tell was I write my songs and I sing them because no one else will. But that's not really the case anymore, but I still tell the joke because it makes me chuckle.
Well, let me tell you, like, Damn These Birds, the lyrics to that are just, they're out of sight. And which brings me to another thing. I didn't realize until after we scheduled this interview, and it's so funny because it really is a small world in music. And while I was living in Nashville, I kept seeing Chris Gantry post a bunch of pictures with this guy. And then I remember, I'm like, I think that was Josh Morningstar that he was working with, because my dad had recorded a few of his songs, and, you know, years ago, back in the late 50s, early 60s. And then my daughter was able to record one of them. But I saw you working with him, and I was like, God, it is such a small world. It really, really is.
Yeah, I've known Chris for 6, 7, 8 years now, something like that, and he was one of the first quote-unquote serious songwriters, I guess you could say, that kind of believed in me and told me, you know, to stay on course. And the more I've gotten to know Chris, I'm pretty sure that's just his standard operating procedure with young writers. But coming from a guy like him who, you know, he's written An American Standard with Dreams of the Everyday Housewife.
Yeah.
You know, you have a guy like that to tell you to not give up and keep going. It kind of hits you in a different way than if, you know, your parents are telling you that or something like that. This is a guy that, you know, has been around for a long time. And actually, the one time I met your father was with Chris Gantry, just kind of on a fluke. I'm pretty sure it was at Bobby's Idlewild, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was either with Chris or Billy Don Burns, one of the two. But I know I had the pleasure of meeting your father one time.
My father?
Yeah, Johnny C. Isn't that your father?
Yeah, I didn't know you had got to meet him, though.
Yes,
that
ma'am.
brings it to a whole new level. Like,
yeah. This would have been 20. Let's see, I started to come to town in 2011. So, and it wasn't too long. So maybe 2011, 2012, somewhere around in there. It was Chris or Billy Don, one of the two of them, introduced me to him, and it was just like a chance meeting. We weren't planned or anything, but yeah, I'm real familiar with your father and love airplanes and all that kind of stuff. And songwriting, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I'm just so glad to know that. That means so much. I don't know what it is. Ever since his passing, people that I know have met him or know him and remember him. They're just like, I don't know, extra special to me.
Yeah, well, you don't.
That's good to know.
Yeah. And he was, you know, very nice to me, and I didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with him, but you know, anybody that Chris or Billy Don speaks highly of, I'm just going to automatically speak highly of and think highly of, even if you know, that's just the way it is. So.
Yeah, well, that's very cool. You're a good guy. That means you're going to have to always speak highly of me.
Well, of course.
Because I'm supposed to do some shows with Don as well. We're just trying to schedule Texas, and
you poor thing.
I know, right?
I don't know that you know what you're getting yourself into.
I probably don't. but I figure it'll be an adventure, so why not, you know?
Hey, if I can guarantee you one thing, I can guarantee you an adventure when it comes to Billy Don Burns. And I say all this with total love. He's my big brother. Sure. I love him dearly.
And I know you recorded Haggard and Haynes.
I did, yes, ma'am.
You did. Yeah, you did a really fantastic job on it.
Thank you. I put out an EP in 2018 that was just 6 songs, and they were, all 6 songs that I wrote. But anytime I do a full-length album, there will always be a Billy Don Burns song on it. There has been with every record I've put out since 2013, I guess. Yeah.
Well, that's very cool. He's good. Graveyard in Montgomery is one of my all-time favorites. And Lonesome 77203, of course, is a great one. But no, he's a great guy, and that's really cool to hear. So I'll always get to look forward to a Billy Don Burns song.
Yeah.
Because I'm quite a fan of his. And I want to mention your songs because I want people to listen to them. Because they really, truly are. Well, I don't want to overdo it, but they're just. I was kind of blown away. I was like, God, this guy, that's country.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And Hangovers and Heartbreaks, the guitar in that is incredible. The words again, of course, are incredible. The whole song.
I've recorded all the guitars on that myself, and I'm not much of a guitar player, so I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
I was going to ask you if you had done that yourself because it's beautiful. And let me tell you something, and this is honest to God truth. Every guitar player, which there's been many really at this point that I've met and interviewed or just talked to, they can be the best, and they all say, and they make sure and say it. I can't really play guitar, but not too well, but I try, something like that. So
well, I really can't. I'm not just saying. My guitar playing, I do it out of necessity, and just because at this point I'm so used to it. But like I can't solo and do all the Eddie Van Halen kind of stuff. I do what works for me, which is pretty much.
Well, it's sounding good.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
But you're just doing so much, and you've got so many good songs I could just keep naming. And I know that the DJs will integrate them throughout the song, which is always, throughout the interview, which is always nice. So I try to mention them throughout, and because I know there's a story behind every song. So what's the story behind? Let's see. Do I want to ask about Jerry Lee or a whole lot of crazy?
Well, they're both pretty similar. Jerry Lee, Jerry Lee's been married 7 times, and there's some evidence to support the theory that Jerry Lee was involved in the deaths of his 4th and 5th wives. So that's where Jerry Lee came from. And then tying into that whole lot of crazy, you hear all these old stories about these crazy old country singers like Hank Williams would pull jukeboxes that didn't have any of his records on them out into the street and shoot them with his pistol, and Waylon keeping women on 4 different floors of hotels, and you hear all these crazy stories about these guys, and you're out there running the same roads and in some instances playing the same places and trying to leave your mark just like they did. And that's what that song's about. So they're kind of similar, kind of come from crazy stories that you hear.
Yeah. Yeah, they're great. And I love the beginning of Whole Lot of Crazy. That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that. And the whole album, A Whole Lot of Crazy, is a good album. Now, The Plea, that album, when did you do that album?
Last year. That was
Last year.
Yeah, we recorded it in August of 2018, and then it came out in December of 2018.
Okay, because I was a little confused about which one was the newest album.
Yeah, we did a re-release. I have a tendency to, once I run out of CDs, like after the first initial order, when they're all gone, just not order anymore and go and work on the next one, which is what I did with Whole Lotta Crazy when the CDs that I ordered were all gone. I went into the studio to do the plea. But Whole Lotta Crazy is kind of the first one that people outside of my circle, I guess, started taking notice of. And I got a lot of requests to re-release it, in essence. So sometime this year we did a re-release of Whole Lotta Crazy. So that's where the confusion comes from. But the plea is, the plea is the newer of the two.
Okay, well, that's good. So people can get them both. And, of course, I would say, where can they find you these days? But all you got to do is Google Josh Morningstar, just like I'm Morningstar, all one word, Josh Morningstar.
And people ask if that's my real name, and that is my real name. It's Cherokee. So, yeah. Yep, I'm not too hard to find in 2019.
It's Cherokee?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. Well, see, we have so much in common. We really do. But it's a good name because it really stands out. It's like perfect for showbiz. So you were meant to be. You were meant to be. And I like your look, your style. Your style of music too. Like it's just all it all goes together so well. Like I can't imagine anyone not just falling in love with your music.
There's quite a few that don't.
Well, if they're country fans, I was gonna say.
The thing about me, I don't have a voice that grabs you right out of the chute like Merle Haggard. You hear Haggard sing for the first time, and at least for me, it stopped me in my tracks. Like, what is that? So I don't have one of those voices. You have to, at least in my opinion, you have to really listen to the words that I write to enjoy what it is that I do. Oh,
yes, and I agree with you. I mean, I'm not agreeing about your voice at all. I think you have an amazing voice, just any other, and it's different, and that's what, you don't want one of the voices that sounds like everybody else anyway.
Yeah.
And the way sometimes you sing so soft, but you do hear the words. You listen to the song. It's like it's sung because in your heart you want people to hear the words, so you're really saying those words. And it comes across, in the music. It really does.
Well, I really appreciate it, Amber. Thank you.
So I'm anxious for all my listeners to hear this interview, because the ones who don't know you yet are gonna love you. I mean, absolutely love you. So I know that you've had a long day and you must be tired. So I won't keep you too much longer. But you're playing tonight. Let's see, this is Friday, Thursday. What day? Wednesday. We're on Wednesday. I live on an island. We don't keep time. Wednesday tonight in Dallas.
Actually, tomorrow and Friday, Thursday and Friday.
Oh, okay. Tomorrow and Friday. You're playing with Cody Jinks and a few other artists for a Christmas show. Mm-hmm. So we want to let everybody know about that. Mm-hmm. So maybe they can catch in there in Dallas.
And both shows are at the Bomb Factory in Dallas, Thursday the 19th and Friday the 20th. It's a Cody Jinks acoustic Christmas show. It's Cody, Ward Davis, Paul Coffin, Tennessee Jet, and myself with a bunch of acoustic guitars sitting around. singing songs and joking with each other. We did it last year here in Dallas at a place called the Majestic Theater, and it was so much fun that I think they realized they had to do it again this year, and it's something that I've looked forward to since last year. So I'm excited to be a part of it again, and I expect more of the same.
Well, I expect to see you a lot, so I know we will have more interviews together in the future, and until then, you have happy holidays. And is there anything else you want to get out to the listeners before?
No, not really. Just
nothing I forgot. Okay, cool.
Not that I can think of. Just if you hear my music and you enjoy it, please play it for a friend. Lord knows I need all the help I can get. So.
Yes, that's a good idea. Make sure you share it. Just share it for Josh. He deserves it.
Thank you.
All right, Josh. Well, we will talk again soon, and I sure appreciate the interview.
Well, I look forward to it, and I appreciate you, Amber. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.